positive workplaces. So kung hindi niyo pa po ako kilala, ayun, hello kasi ang tagal ko na rin hindi nag-free webinar pero na-miss ko po kayong lahat. And sana makita pa po namin kayo sa mga susunod. So again, para sa mga first-timers, we are Positive Workplaces and we co-create cultures that enhance the well-being of the Filipino workforce. And we do that through making positivity ripples. And naniniwala kami na ang positivity ripples ay nagsa-start sa inyo. So, syempre po, nag-start sa atin yon. And paano natin nagagawa yon? Sa pag-join ng mga webinars, sa pagbabasa po ng mga articles related dito. And we also lead others by doing so na pag nag-share natin yung mga learnings, nag-share natin yung mga webinars, di ba, sa family, sa friends, and even sa colleagues natin. We're able to lead cultures that will create positive workplaces. And ayan, reminders po, no, para sa webinar natin this afternoon, have another device or be ready to go to another link dahil we will be using Mentimeter po later for our activities. And prepare paper and pen for your notes kasi for sure, marami po tayong matututunan from our speaker this afternoon. And we also highly encourage engagement with the audience, but please be respectful in the chat. So ayan, nakita naman po natin na very respectful ang ating mga participants. So great job po dyan. And of course, eto po, sa mga nagtatanong kung may attendance po tayo, wala po, pero meron po tayong evaluation form. So the evaluation form will be issued at the end of the webinar for those in the Zoom room only. So naka-live stream po tayo ngayon, pero yung mga nasa Zoom room lang yung mabibigyan ng evaluation form. And please remember the acronym 10. So 10 stands for title. So i-check niyo po yung title. Dapat po ang title po niyan ay Future of Work. Email, paki-check po yung mga email niyo. So yung mga invalid po kasi yan kapag nagkaroon ng @gmail.com, ganyan. So paki-check na lang po yung kasi pag nagkaroon po ng typo, hindi po ninyo makukuha yung certificate niyo. And type in your name, yung full name niyo po. Yung makikita niyo po dun sa certificate niyo ay yung full name na gusto niyo pong makita. And of course, for any concerns about evaluations or certificates, you may email us at engage@positiveworkplaces.org. And we will only be entertaining inquiries regarding evaluations and certificates up to 1 week after the event. So ayan, wait lang po ninyo yung mga email nyo na may certificate kasi po nung mga nakakaraan po nag-hit tayo ng 1,000. So ang dami po natin. So na-overwhelm din po yung system. So wait lang po pero for sure naman po darating yan within the day. And ayan, of course, we're gonna conclude na yung August free webinar series natin. So nandito po ba kayo simula nung umpisa kay Miss K? So if nandito po kayo, type in niyo po 2 sa chat box. Ayan, so yan mga suki na pala natin itong mga uma-attend ng free webinar. So I hope marami po kayo natutunan kay Miss K nung nag-talk about siya about coping with burnout, proven strategies for avoiding and overcoming exhaustion. And then si Coach Jejo naman po last week talked about strengths-based teamwork, how to maximize individual differences for collective success. And ngayon po we'll be having Miss Elise Go. So she's gonna talk about the future of work, how diversity, equity, and inclusion will shape our world. So let's give it up po for Miss Elise Go.
Hey, hello, good afternoon everyone. So, ang pinakauna kong ituturo sa inyo ay paano po malakpak sa deaf community, no? So, yung PWD community yung pinaka-involved ako, pero ganito po ang ating palakpak kasi hindi nila naririnig. So, the happier you are sa kanilang performance or sa kanilang ginagawa, mas intense po yung palakpak natin para alam nila na masaya po sila sa atin, no? So, yun, thank you so much, Miss Joyce, and thank you so much, Positive Workplaces, for this opportunity to really share about our advocacy. So let me start with by sharing my screen. Okay. So yun, magsisimula po tayo basically sa definition, no? Sa definition ng diversity, equity, and inclusion, 'di ba? So basically, pag sinabi nating diversity, equity, and inclusion, respect, una-una, it's a very basic thing. Example lang naman to, no, na we have the right to choose the shoes, right? The shoes that we want, no, the clothes that we want to wear. Diversity means everyone getting a different type of shoe, meaning it becomes a very beautiful place kahit dahil iba-iba yung nakikita natin. Equity means everyone getting a pair of shoes that fits, no? Yung bagay sa bawat isa. And acceptance is understanding that we all wear different kinds of shoes. Na okay lang kung iba yung itsura ng sapatos natin sa iba, and may respeto, walang nagsasabihan na uy hindi maganda yung kanya or mas maganda yung akin, no? So it's really just accepting na magkakaiba tayo ng taste, no? And then of course, belonging is wearing the shoes that you want without fear of judgment, no? So this is really the kind of world that we want to create as a diverse world, no, na isang mundo na walang judgment, na walang takot, na hindi tayo natatakot ma-judge. So I'd like to give a definition of diversity, equity, and inclusion by the American Psychological Society, no, na it's a conceptual framework that promotes the fair treatment and full participation of people. DEI especially focuses on the groups who have historically been underrepresented or subject to discrimination. So sino po yung mga example ng mga groups na yon? So example ng mga groups na yon would be of course the women, PWDs, IPs, LGBTQIA, no? Ito po yung mga grupo ng mga tao na historically, no, underrepresented and nakakaranas ng discrimination. DI aims to create a culture of respect, belonging, empowerment for everyone. The truth is sometimes when I am asked to give this talk, parang iniisip ko, hindi ba bata pa lang taman tayo sinasabi na we have to respect each other, that we have to be kind, that we have to include others, no? So sometimes I wonder, how come we need to make so much research pa on 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 upholding respect and inclusion when in fact it's a basic need, it's a basic value, no? So but basically I guess historically some things happened in society, no, na medyo nagkaroon ng stigma yung certain roles, 'di ba? Kagaya ng before, ang women mas madalas na sa bahay lang, no? Dati iniisip nila pag PWD ka, parang you don't have the capacity to think or to work, no, kasi walang school, no, walang school available for them, for example. So maybe all those history came about kaya nagkaroon ng ganitong mga stigma ngayon that we're trying to break barriers, no? So I want to show this picture, no, na right now, no, lalo na sa Pilipinas, 'di ba? Very big yung gap between the rich and the poor, no? So the reality is one gets more than what is needed while the other gets less than is needed. So masyadong malaki yung gap, no? Dito sa society natin. And ito yung realidad, 'di ba? I mean, minsan nakikita mo sa isang village, for example, merong isang sobrang laking bahay na may katabing squatters area, no? So, yun po yung realidad na sinusubukan natin i-bridge, no? Ang ibig sabihin naman ng equality, no, pantay, the assumption is that everyone benefits from the same support. This is considered to be equal treatment. So iniisip natin, if you look at the second picture here, no, pare-pareho naman, 'di ba, na meron silang natatayuan, no? Iniisip ng government natin, lahat naman kayo may access dun sa, let's say, sa LGU, no? Nandiyan naman ang LGU, 'di ba? Lahat naman tayo may access sa police, kapulisan, no? So yun yung parang nire-represent netong tinatayuan nila, we have equal access to the same support, no? Yun yung iniisip natin. Pero bakit natin sinasabi diversity, equity, and inclusion? Hindi diversity, equality, and inclusion. Why? Because equity is actually defined as everyone gets the support they need, which produces equity. So meaning, yun pong bata, 'di ba? Kahit na parehong yung tinatayuan, lahat sila may pwedeng tayuan. Okay? Kaya lang may mga taong kailangan ng better adjustment, no? We need to adjust a little bit more para mas makita rin nila yung nangyayari. So, ito yung tinatawag nating equity, na medyo kino-customize natin yung support depende sa pangangailangan ng mga tao, no? So like, for example nga niyan would be, tama, lahat tayo merong kalsada, 'di ba? Meron lahat tayo kalsadang tatawiran. Pero it becomes equity if merong braille, for example. Yung light, no? Para alam ng isang blind na tatawid na siya. No? So yun yung ibig sabihin na equity. That's the main difference between equality and equity. No, I hope that's clear. No? And so therefore, ngayon, nagkakaroon na ng hustisya, there is justice, because all three can see the game without support or accommodation because the causes, no, of the inequality was addressed. The systematic barrier has been removed, meaning maybe wala nang discrimination. So nagkakaroon na ng hustisya or ng justice. Everybody does not have to struggle, no? Everybody does not have to struggle to see what's going on, to have access to the needs, kasi wala na yung root ng problema, which is could be behavioral, could be mental, could be the way we think, or the belief system of society. No? So I hope this picture actually drives a very big point. No? It's a difference ng yung realidad ngayon that we're trying to break barriers, and the main difference between equality and equity and how we reach justice. No? So there, ito lang. This is just basically a clearer picture. So equality, everybody actually has this tool, no, this tool to stand on, no. But equity means for this child to really see the same thing that the father sees. Kailangan niya lang ng mas dalawang stool versus sa isa. Okay? Habang yung bata na nasa wheelchair will need a ramp. No? So that is what equity means. Like, gumagawa po tayo ng special accommodation or special thing that would fit, no? That would fit the specific needs of certain sectors of society. So, yan po yung basically, kaya natin siya tinatawag na diversity, equity, and inclusion. And it's not just about diversity, equality, and inclusion. Okay? I hope that's clear po for all of us. So bakit natin gusto magkaroon ng diversity, equity, and inclusion? So, objective, no? Yung objective kung bakit natin to pinopromote is that, number one, we want sustainable change, meaning isang change that will be long-term, isang pagbabago na that will be passed on, that will benefit from generation to generation. We will close gender gaps, no? That we will be seen according to our capacity and not our gender. There's such thing as the environmental, social, and corporate governance audit. That's the ESG. So ito po ay isang parang standards na naiset, no? And then the United Nations has been promoting the United Nations Development Goals. So yung gender equality, lesser poverty, syempre if more women, more PWDs will get jobs, then magkakaroon po tayo ng lesser poverty and mas ma-achieve natin yung UNDP sustainable goals, no? Right now, there's an evolving corporate culture, meaning yun pong ating mga kabataan, right now, the millennial workforce actually values inclusion. No? So gusto nila, nagtatrabaho sila in an environment that values people, that values inclusion. So hindi natin sila ma-attract as a workforce if we don't share the same values with them. So maybe in the past, importante lang sa past generation na may trabaho. But this time, the new workforce is actually looking for meaning, purpose, and contribution. They want that the workplace that they will be working on is something that matches their values. No? So, if hindi tayo mag-evolve along with the new values, no, na nag-evolve sa workplace, then we will not be able to get the talents that we need also. We will not be able to attract this new workforce that is emerging. No? A workforce that is conscious, a workforce that values meaning and purpose. No? So hindi tayo magiging preferred. So baka mapag-iwanan tayo bilang mga kumpanya, bilang mga organizations, and we will not get the good talents, no, that we need. No? Um, so we would like to be able to address what's important to the new workforce, which is equality. Importante ngayon sa bagong workforce yung ganong klaseng working environment. That's why ginagawa to, kaya to sinusulong sa workplace, no. So yan, I guess Ms. Joyce, we'd like to put in the first Mentimeter. And so yun po, if we can have our phones with us, o yung atin pong gadgets, no, kindly go to www.menti.com. Okay? So, or dito po sa QR code na to, i-click nyo lang po yan, and then our code is 625-63916. Okay? So, Ms. what are they supposed to see as soon as they open this link?
Ayan, you're supposed to see po yung shoes. Yung which
Yeah.
shoes do you prefer to wear on a daily basis?
Okay, so that's the first question that we have. So can we get some answers? Which shoes do you prefer to wear on a daily basis, no? So, iba-iba, no? Sneakers, loafers, no? Parang madaming sumasagot ng sneakers. Actually, 'di ba ngayon yung mga suot ng mga tao kahit naka-formal jacket tayo, naka-sneakers tayo sa baba, correct? Or minsan 'di ba sa mga weddings ngayon naka-formal pero naka-sneakers tayo sa ilalim. Ay sa yung shoes natin, hindi na heels. So nagbabago talaga yung kung saan tayo komportable, no? So there. So I think in this question, we see the diverse preferences, no? And walang mali, di ba? I mean, lahat ng tao, nirerespeto natin na yun yung gusto nila, dun sila komportable. So we all have that right, no? To be respected to what we're comfortable in. Actually, the gender that we're comfortable in, the kind of religion that we're comfortable in, parang we all have the right to be respected for kung saan tayo komportable. Okay? So that's one of the main meaning of inclusion, diversity, and equity. Okay? Tapos na po ba? O parang may mga sumasagot pa? Okay, pero mukhang panalo ang ang sneakers. No? Okay, thank you so much to everybody that answered. The next question is, okay, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite color? So, wow, red. Ang lagalakihang red, pink. O hindi po tayo political ngayon. Meron tayong white, orange, black, yellow. Tingnan natin, no? Yan, white, green. Meron bang namumuro? Okay. No? So, the same thing nga, na parang we have to be respected for what's beautiful for us. Okay? Kung ano yung perspective ng mga mata natin, hindi natin pwede sabihing mali ka kasi mas magandang black kaysa sa blue or mas magandang violet kaysa pink. No? It's really a celebration na iba-iba yung nakikita natin at iba-iba yung maganda. para sa atin, no? Hindi natin that's why color, even skin color, no? Skin color has to be respected, 'di ba? It's like saying na hindi porke tan ka, you're actually mas maganda yung white or yung brown skin, no? So this one really just represents respecting colors, respecting the skin of people, and ang beauty naman is really in the eyes of the beholder. Iba-iba po tayo ng taste. No, hindi natin pwede sabihin bad taste siya. Okay, kasi this is a preference, no? This is a preference, no? And minsan yun yung malungkot yun yung nagiging cause ng away, 'di ba? Na kasi iba yung taste ko sa taste niya tapos nag-aaway tayo bilang magkakaibigan. Parang just because, no? Just because magkaiba yung maganda para sa atin, 'di ba? Minsan nagkakasakitan yung pamilya, "Uy, hindi naman maganda yung girlfriend mo." Example, 'di ba? Tapos nagkakasakitan tayo, but nirespetuhin po natin kung ano yung maganda para sa iba, no? And that includes skin color also, no? All right. Next question. Okay, kayo po, bilang people, what type of environment do you prefer more? Thank you to those answering. You prefer seeing mountains, you prefer the beach, you prefer the city, or farm? No, if you were to go to a place or maybe live in a place, saan nyo gustong titira? Mountain, beach, city, farm, no? Namumuro ang, wow, dumadami ang farm. Okay, so actually 'di ba nung pandemic dumami yung mga plantito at plantita. So so siguro talaga tayo actually a lot of people feels healed or they feel calm or relaxed depending yung iba city, yung iba parang nasa-stress sila pag nasa ano beach sila. Kasi ayaw nila ng araw. Ayaw nila na naiinitan sila, no? Which is okay lang. Yung iba mas gusto nila nasa city sila, no? So, kanya-kanya nga po tayo ng gusto, no? And this is on the very basic things, ha? This is on the very basic things, no? And I guess this activity shows us na talagang iba-iba yung panlasa natin and walang mali. 'Di ba? Walang mali kung ano man yung preference natin, 'no? So, thank you so much. Mukhang marami pong farms ang mabebenta sa grupong ito, 'no? Thank you. Next po, next. Okay, was there a time you felt out of place? So let's see. Yes and no. Wow, actually, medyo okay. So, guys, if there's any insights that's coming into your mind as we do this activity, just please feel free to chat in the chat box also. No, if there's any insights na pumapasok sa isipan natin that's coming to our mind as we do this activity, um just type it in the chat box. Okay? So, wow, this is reality. No, I mean, I did not know naman na ito yung ating magiging demographic today, 'di ba? But a lot of you actually said yes. So, I think sometimes, well, of course, if we don't want to feel left out, 'di ba? There's also something that we don't let other people feel. Correct. So let's do our best to be inclusive nga kasi gusto natin na kasali tayo, kasi gusto natin accepted tayo. So kung ano yung gusto natin para sa sarili natin, it's the same thing that all our women, our LGBTQ, our PWDs, our IPs, pare-pareho lang din na they don't like to feel out of place. Okay? And this seems to be a very particular yun, this is parang it's a reflection, no? I think we are 600 plus in the room and we only need 100 sample, right? In a survey. So I think this is a good sample, no? That 90 more than 90% of us has felt out of place, has felt to be in the shoes of people left behind, such as persons with disabilities, women, LGBTQIA, the seniors, no? So yung mga seniors natin na minsan madalas na rin silang maiwan sa bahay, 'di ba? So there. So I hope that we all make a more conscious choice not to make people feel this way, 'di ba? Next question, Miss Joyce. Do you want to be part of conversations? So as a person, do you want to be part of conversations? So nice, no? We have a resounding yes, right? Maybe, you can also say why, no? Parang why do you want to be part of conversations? Sana may sometimes in an ambivert. Pero totoo naman, minsan di natin feel, di ba? Minsan di natin feel na makischika or makisali, which is okay lang. We actually have to be respected din pagka nandun tayo sa feeling na yon, 'di ba? Na minsan hindi ko feel and okay lang, hindi mo pwede sabihan yung tao KJ, no? Kasi we have to honor din na yun yung nararamdaman ng tao sa oras na yon, correct? So, yan, depende sa topic, 'di ba? Depende sa topic kung feel natin yung topic. But in general, gusto nating may kausap, gusto nating we're part of conversations, right? So it's the same thing again for our persons with disability, IP, women, no, they also want to be heard, they also want to be part of conversations, no. Usually I do sensitivity awareness workshops for persons with disability, and our deaf people would say ang pinakaayaw nila yung nasa grupo sila with friends or with family, right? And then they will ask their family members or friends to please explain to them what's going on in the news, or explain to them what the family member is talking about. But sometimes very impatiently they would be told never mind, no? Never mind, yung parang impatient tayo na explain sa kanila kung ano yung nangyayari. So that's something that they really don't like to hear, no? So yon. So let's make them part of the conversations, no? Okay. Let's do the next question. Okay. Okay. If we have members here of the LGBTQ, PWD, IP, senior, or women, dito po sa chat room natin today, no? What are some of the most discriminating comments you've heard? So, may nagsabi, minsan sinasabihan tayo, will go to hell, di ba? If we are of a certain gender, perhaps, no? Chubby, pa-special, olds ka na, no? So, parang, may mali ba kung old na ako, di ba? Parang may mali ba kung senior ako, this is my age, di ba? So, kailan ka papakasal? Siguro sa mga, whether sometimes, alam naman na nila na LGBTQ tayo, pero tatanungin ka, kailan ka magpapakasal? Alam mo yung parang that's no longer respecting the preference, no? Bakit, ano yung sagabal? Sino po yung sagabal? Senior po ba? I'd like to hear, sino po yung nasasabihan ng sagabal? So, yung body shaming, actually, ang hilig po natin, di ba, pagka during gatherings, the first thing that we actually greet people is, uy, tumaba ka. Alam mo yun, parang, yung unang-unang bungad, no? Pabigat. So, I think, this is just really to raise awareness, no? To raise awareness sa effect natin, sa effect ng words natin, sa mga taong people that we are advocating for, specifically these people who are underrepresented, no? So yon. But I also hope that all of us knows our worth, that all of us knows na matuto rin po tayong mag-kebs. No, parang kebs na sinasabi ng iba because kilala naman natin yung mga kakayahan natin at sarili natin, that we are not we have a choice really to choose then kung ano yung papakinggan natin. Okay? We have a choice to also listen, to choose kung ano yung papakinggan natin and not be affected. No? Because for those who are religious here, we are all children of God. And, di ba, parang sometimes what I like about what our deaf would say, I was I'm proud to be created this way. No? We all look different, but we all have the same heart. Pare-pareho po yung puso natin, pare-pareho po yung nararamdaman natin. So this is just really just to raise awareness. Dun din naman sa impact ng mga sinasabi natin sa ibang tao. Okay? So yun, next, please. So yun. So I think that's ito. So this one is towards the end na. So I'll be continuing my presentation po, no. And please feel free nga to just type in the chat box if there's any insights that comes into your mind as we go along, no. So I guess the main point lang naman doon is from the most simple thing, no, the choices our choices of clothes to wear, the choices of what's beautiful for us, the choices of being different has to be respected, and we have to make every person feel included by accommodating their needs also, no. So like for example, for the seniors, buti nga ngayon meron na tayong mga senior parang, or let's say the women lounge, 'di ba? Yung mga yung breastfeeding lounge for women sa CR. So that's equity. Kasi yung karapatan na magkaroon na makapasok sa CR is called equality. Because lahat tayo has an equal right to go to the CR. Pero pag yung CR ginawa mong pag yung CR nilagyan mo ng space para makapag-breastfeed yung nanay or makapagpalit ng lampin yung nanay, that's equity. Klaro po ba? Because we're adjusting some things para dun sa needs ng tao, para lahat komportable. Okay, I hope I'm making a lot of nagme-make sense po, no, yung aking sinasabi and the definition between equity and equality. Okay? Just type in the chat box po talaga if there's any insight that comes to mind, no? Okay. Next. Lang po. Ayaw mag-next slide. Nag-hang na. Masyado pong nahirapan yung ating laptop sa mga hindi magandang narinig. Teka lang, I will stop share and share again. Wait. Teka lang po . Okay, let's go. I'll go to this slide now. Okay, so this was a study, no? This was a study made by the International Labor Organization and the United Nations, along with a friend that did the study, and the title is "A Very Beautiful but Heavy Jacket." So this is for migrant workers, the conditions of migrant workers na nasa laylayan, which is the SOGI, the LGBTQIA group, the seniors, no? And this is just to give us a glimpse of the reality that they are actually facing. No, these are different answers to survey questions. So you can, a trans woman in Vietnam actually said it's very hard in Vietnam to find a stable job being open as a transgender woman. Your identification doesn't match your appearance. You can't work in the government. So you have to work in the private sector, and they don't have any protection for LGBT people, no? Sabi naman po ng isang COO na lesbian sa Myanmar, my parents told me to marry as it was time. My older sister lived with me from childhood until I grew up. She saw me and explained to my parents. My mother was quiet. There was no problem. The problem is people around me, neighbors and relatives. They try to provoke me but I don't retaliate or respond. No? So ang dami pong nagsasalita na people around them. No? And yun nga, parang kung babalik tayo sa basic, no, wala naman pong kinalaman yung panlabas nating kaanyuan right? Our physical appearance sa brain natin, sa kakayahan ng isip natin, 'di ba? Lahat tayo kayang lumikha, lahat tayo, everybody can make a presentation, everybody can study, everybody can attend meetings, no? Whatever however we look will not really affect the capacity of our brains, right? So, yon. So yan po yung iba, some of the things that our LGBT or SOG members, trans women group goes, experiences, no? So I'd like to go next. So ito pong, itong chart na to actually shows forms of school bullying. So social exclusion. So when people are in the LGBT group, no? Yun, yung mga anak natin na hindi sinasali sa laro, right? Because they don't look the same, verbal bullying, no? Um, they're actually told that they are, yun, parang, uy, let's say, bading, di ba yung mga ganong klaseng pangbubuli? O sometimes sexual bullying, sometimes yung parang naharas din sila. Minsan sabihin natin, si transgender woman, no? Di ba lahat naman tayo, we value our bodies. Hindi naman natin basta-basta yan, no, we value our bodies. But sometimes, may mga people who don't respect people who will just touch you as if you're not human or you cannot feel, no? So, mga physical bullying, di ba? You know, sometimes, lahat tayo, we value our space, eh. We have a friend na dwarfism siya, yung little people, maliit. Then sabi niya, minsan pag nasa daan siya, bigla na lang siyang kukunin ng bata at ihahag. Ano yun? Akala nila doll. No? Akala nila laruan. No? So, but sa totoo, tao yun na nagugulat, tao yun na may physical boundary ang space. Naintindihan niyo po? So, you know, so minsan maybe I'd like to, yun. Tapos sabi nung iba, ano yung motivation mo for being a migrant worker? So pag titignan nyo dito, bilang part of the LGBTQ community, while a lot of people said for career advancement, I'd like all of you to look at this answer. To escape discrimination or experience more freedom. No? Klaro po ba? No? Yung mga nasa LGBT natin community, they actually leave the country dahil gusto nila ma-escape tong mundo na to na very discriminating. Kasi bakit? Pag pumunta sila sa Europa, pag pumunta sila sa Amerika, wala silang nararamdaman na ganun. Kasi mas aware, mas accepted, mas open yung mga tao sa ibang bansa. So, you know, it's really sad na the motivation to leave the country, not really for work, but to escape discrimination. No? To be able to live in a place freely, na hindi sila natatakot na masabihan, hindi sila natatakot, that they can just be themselves. No? So, parang itong home natin na sabihin natin na Pilipinas, hindi nagiging home. Right? So, this is what this survey actually shows, no? And then, if the motivation is to escape discrimination or experience more freedom, kanino nila unang na-experience yung kanilang discrimination? And top two would be experiences within the family, no? The family that's supposed to be giving us most care also. And then overall societal and legal discrimination. Meaning ng legal discrimination, sometimes, di ba, bawal yung same-sex marriage or minsan nga sabihin yung age doesn't matter. Yung mga, let's say, kinakasal na mas matanda sa kanila, di ba? Parang sila rin na discriminate, no? So, yung mga paniniwala talaga ng society actually makes people leave kasi they want to be more free. So, this is a very glaring study that really shows us a lot about our society, no? And this is the reality that we want to break free from. Okay? Okay, I'd like us to just listen to this video.
I was taking my dog out for a walk, and then I just heard someone say, "I dare you to go and kick that midget in the head." Now, I probably wouldn't even have heard them say that if they'd not used the word midget. It's a word I really hate. It's a word that has followed me all my life. As I looked over, the person that a man was already almost in front of me, and it kicked me in the head, this side, in the face. I felt angry, very angry actually. Like, how dare you? How dare you do that to me? Why would you do that to anyone? As a result of the incident, I'd got a perforated eardrum and a fractured skull.
The week before lockdown, we were walking down the road and all of a sudden somebody had stopped and blocked my way in front of me. I was aware that this woman's face was right up to mine and she just started shouting and yelling at me. And then the next thing I heard Inca really yell. I said to her, "What on earth have you just done?" So she actually said to me, "Oh, well, I've just kicked your dog because it shouldn't be out. Animals are carrying the coronavirus." Inca just fell down to the floor, so I knew that she'd obviously been hurt. Turned around and went home, called the police, then got a friend to run me down to the vets with Inca, and we found out that she'd got severe bruising.
I get targeted a lot. I get socially outcast, and people are so quick to judge. People profile me. And
he's unusually outgoing for someone on the spectrum. So he likes to go out and about. He does generally like people.
I was waiting at the bus stop. These guys came out of nowhere. It just happened. Somebody shouted abuse at me, "I'm coming after you," and stuff like that. "I'm coming after you." There was two of them, and they just charged right into me and started throwing multiple punches, and I ran away. They managed to trip me over when I got to the side of the road and started kicking me when I'm down, basically, yeah. Two cars pulled over and they called the police.
He was covered in blood. He had a dislocated shoulder from the attack.
And, they just weren't found, and they still weren't brought to justice.
The police had two good witnesses who stopped to assist. There was an abundance of cameras on this estate. I can't understand why more wasn't investigated.
How would you feel if tomorrow morning you woke up and you couldn't see? Just having to find the confidence to go out and navigate your way around, you feel vulnerable as it is, but then to be assaulted and attacked, it was soul destroying. I've always been a person that's tried to fight for disability rights and everything, but I just think sometimes it doesn't go far enough.
They've taken my freedom away from me. I'm a very outgoing person, I love socializing. But I can't do that now without anyone being with me all the time. If you've got a disability, that's hard enough. Those two men that did that to me obviously thought it was okay to do that. And am I supposed to just accept that? Am I supposed to just think, well, it's my fault because I'm disabled? No, I'm not.
So, well, feel free po, no, to just type in how did we feel. I guess I'd like to know how we felt as we listen
I
to that
was taken
video.
photographs.
Feel free lang to type in the chat box on how we felt as we listen to that video or any insights habang pinapanood po natin siya. If anyone wants to unmute, you're free to do so also. Okay. Sige, okay. So sad, no? It's sad. The truth is, di ba yung midget, wala, I mean, yung person with dwarfism, parang, wala, parang, just like us, di ba? Para lang tayong tao na nagko-cross ng street, naglalakad, and then all of a sudden, biglang sasabihin, uy, sipain mo nga yung tao na yan. Just because iba itsura niya, no? But you know, I think something as I've been in this work for more than 5 years, something that I've realized all along is that we're actually all handicapped, no? So meaning, if I see, let's say, if I see a senior, for example, who can dance very well, hindi ako magaling sumayaw eh. So I'm also handicapped in that area. Gets? Parang you cannot say na mas magaling ka dahil kompleto ka or dahil bata ka or dahil straight ka, mas magaling ka. There's really no basis for it. If I see a deaf person very good in drawing, no, ganun din. I'm actually also imperfect in that area, 'di ba? So I think one equalizing factor here is we all have our own imperfection, no? So we sometimes when I see yun parang yun siguro equalizer nating lahat, that we actually all have our imperfections, no? So nobody can actually say we're better than anybody. Okay? Yun. So how does a fully integrated diversity, equity, and inclusion look like? No? So as you can see here, somebody who, let's say, sabi nating senior to, or let's say somebody in the LGBTQIA community, a blind person, this person represents somebody in the unrepresented sector of society, no? So kulang ng equipment, kulang ng para makaakyat siya dito sa hagdan na to at makapasok siya sa society, no? Um uh Minsan gagawa tayo ng konting solusyon, bibigyan natin siya ng wheelchair, for example. Pero hindi mo pa rin inayos yung yung hagdan, hindi ka pa rin naglagay ng ramp. So hindi pa rin siya, nahirapan pa rin siya maging fully participate, no? So we want an integrated solution, meaning rehabilitation plus equipment plus the access, yun nga, changing everything, no? Plus attitude change. There has to be openness para magkaroon ng full inclusion. So we need all these things to be present for there to have a fully integrated DI society na nasa corporate DNA na natin siya, na nasa new normal na natin siya. Meaning it's new normal for us to have an all gender CR, for us to have a mall that has worship prayer rooms, no? Parang sana maging normal site na siya for us to be able to say fully integrated tayo, na in the workplace, in the school we accept all kinds of people, no? So yun yung hindi porke nagbigay tayo ng rampa, fully integrated society na tayo. Kailangan magbigay ka ng rampa, mag-open ka ng employment for everybody, gumawa ka ng mga policies, no, and procedures na against discrimination. That's the only time you can say you are fully integrated. Na that's fully integrated DEI. Okay? So, in every organization, meron tayong corporate culture and vision. So, us, the way we come up with a program for diversity, equity, and inclusion is number one, pwede pa rin naman tayo magkaroon ng sarili nating identity, no, our own brand of DI in our companies and organizations. So we create one, design one that is according to our company vision and culture. Then we talk to the stakeholders, meaning employees, the bosses, the suppliers, lahat ng people around on what does fully integrated DI look like for us. No? And if ever gagawin natin to, sino yung mga maapektuhan, sino yung mga matatamaan, anong tingin mo. So lahat may bosses. Then tsaka natin siya gagawa ng policies and procedures. Tsaka rin natin siya gagawan ng mga ways kung paano saan tayo mag-adjust para tayo maging fully inclusive, no? So an example of that is 'di ba may mga screening process na let's say may math dun sa mga exam or masyadong mataas na vocabulary, basta totoong trabaho lang naman niya magiging encoder. So, hindi naman naapektuhan talaga yung pagiging encoder niya kung bumagsak siya dun sa math part of the exam or the grammar part of the exam. So, equity means baka pwede nang may tanggalin tayo na ibang parts dun sa exam para makapasok yung bata dito sa school natin or makapasok yung tao dito sa office natin. Klaro po ba yun? So, those are some of the things that we tinatawag po doon reasonable accommodation, no? Kung yun yung isang example doon eh, no? Kung ang magiging trabaho naman niya is let's say housekeeper, pwede bang hindi na lang at least college graduate yung ating requirement, no? Kasi maski nga 5 years old marunong maglinis, 'di ba? So, yun po yung tinatawag nating equity na i-adjust po natin yung konting mga nakasanayan nating beliefs para ma-accommodate po sila na maging parte ng society, magkaroon ng trabaho, no? Babawasan natin yung barriers kasi pag sabi mong kailangan age 18 to 35, meron po tayong mga 45 na mas malakas pa sa 18-year-old eh, 'di ba? Meron po tayong nasa mga 60 na actually mas malakas pa minsan yung katawan na nasa 30. So, hindi siya batayan. No? So, we hope that we can adjust all those other policies so that we can be more inclusive. No? So, yan po yung sinabi ko, some examples of policies para maging mas equal tayo. So, kanina yung nabanggit ko po kanina, ESG means Economic, Social, and Governance Reporting. Nade-declare po natin kung ilan yung male, female sa ating mga kumpanya. And we have to be very conscious na, let's allot X number of percentage for male, X number of percentage for PWDs, let's allot some percentage for the senior sector, no? So, yun po yung ilan sa mga policies, no? Ngayon, may mga narinig na tayo. Kasi let's say sa mga same-sex marriage or partners pala, pareho silang lalaki, pero pareho naman yan sa mag-asawa eh. So, minsan sa ospital, hindi kinikilala yung partner nila para gumawa ng mga desisyon pag may sakit yung partner or yung siya yung kasama niya araw-araw, 'di ba, sa buhay. The same as a husband or a wife in a regular family setting na sometimes mas kaya niya magdesisyon talaga para dun sa partner niya kaysa sa family member kasi mas nakasama na niya mas kasama niya yung tao pati yung health condition ng tao. So ito yung ilan sa mga policies that we're trying to advocate for, no, na common law partners will be recognized as beneficiaries kasi sila naman talaga yung naging pamilya na nila. No, let's say sa mga insurance, healthcare, na kung sila yung kasama nila sa buhay, kumbaga as much as the wife or husband or a child in a regular family setting has the right to be beneficiaries, ganun din naman yung common law partners, no? yun, yung mga all-gender restrooms, inclusive worship places, and nakikita na natin yan sa mga malls, no, na may mga worship place para sa mga iba-ibang relihiyon, no. So these are some of the sample policies that we're talking about, no. Um, I asked I asked some of our partners, like how did it change your perspective when you worked with a person with disability? And sabi po ang Abenson as a company is a partner of ours, no? Nag-hire na po sila ng mga PWDs, and sabi niya, when I work with people with disabilities, they actually remind me that they are also capable of doing great things. I am grateful because they have the ability to collaborate with me. With the team, I am feeling blessed. People working together with one goal, regardless of capacities, no? It is our responsibility to love one another by co-creating good results. I'm open to working with anyone as long as we have a common goal and good intentions. DI enhances leadership and culture to unleash and maximize the potential of each person and organization. So bilang isang leader, no, doon din minsan natetest yung leadership capacity natin, 'di ba? Pagkakaya nating mag-handle ng iba-ibang palabasin yung full potential ng bawat isang tao sa team natin kahit ano pa yung background nila. And that actually shapes us as a leader. Pag nakaya nating palabasin yung kakayahan ng mga tao, no matter their background, no, yung mapalipad natin sila, that will really shape our leadership, no. Accenture is one of the companies that has been really strong in advocating for diversity, equity, and inclusion. They have a diversity, equity, and inclusion a lead or unit, no? Naging departamento na po siya, naging unit na po siya, no? So, according to Mr. Ted Chan of the Accenture, he says, I think having a diverse workplace means having open communication with others, which is very effective in any relationship. Any relationship will teach you proper communication. The diverse workplace is equal in terms of opportunities and promotion, because I believe that our manpower is our greatest resource. Anyone can contribute based on talent and strengths. Our system can create a new process where everyone is involved, everyone contributes, everyone interacts, and everyone is productive and inspired. I've gone to the Accenture Access Center, and doon bumili sila ng mga lamesa na mas mababa than the regular tables para maka-accommodate sila ng person in wheelchair, or yun nga, somebody who is in dwarfism, no? So they really see them as an alternative manpower. No, it's really seen as an alternative manpower. They actually have a room there wherein the blind can use an assistive device para makapagtrabaho sila ng maayos. So maraming na rin pong technology ngayon that will allow DEI, no? So with exposure to different types of people, I learned to have a more open mind, learn to ask questions, to clarify first before assuming things. And I saw the value of creating an environment where everyone feels safe to share their perspective and who they truly are. These are the same behaviors that we need to have to be good leaders and to foster a culture of innovation. There's value in diversity kasi iba yung creativity na lumalabas pagka nagagaling sa iba-ibang perspective. Okay? So yun po. So yun, I just want to check on the chat box for a while right now. No? According to some of our friends here, nobody have the legal right to do that to anybody. I think these are responses to the video earlier. No, that person feels inferiority that causes depression, inferiority complex, self-pity. So minsan, in my terms, no, sometimes I would call it unnecessary brokenness. No, hindi necessary na naging broken yung isang tao. If only we always uphold psychological safety, we always uphold kindness, we always uphold respect. Ang daming taong broken na hindi dapat nangyari. That's my personal thinking right now, no? Parang if you discriminate somebody because of how they look, hindi naman siya dapat, 'di ba? Ang alam ko po, mas naging strict ngayon si JobStreet in screening yung mga posted job ads sa website nila. Nag-take down na at nagko-call na yung attention ng recruiter if may discriminatory clauses. Yeah, in New Zealand, bawal na maglagay ng age, bawal na maglagay ng birthday, no? Kasi nga, hindi naman siya, hindi naman reference yun kung kaya mo magtrabaho or hindi. Yun. At this point po, I just want to ask also if as an organization, we're actually about to come up with a DI summit. No, we are planning it pa, nasa proseso pa lang po kami ng pagpaplano ng event. But please click on the QR code, register here po if you are interested to be advised about the event, no? So we hope that you can click on this. Mag-register po tayo kung gusto niyo pong maging parte ng event namin. We are currently planning a DI summit. Wala pa pong final details, but we'd like to inform you of the final details kung interesado po tayo. We will be inviting speakers that will teach us more about DI and how to be inclusive, no? My dream really is that one day we don't have to advocate anymore because inclusion has become normal. No? So, which is yun. Okay? So, I'll leave this. Nandyan lang naman po yung link. Just please click on the link kung gusto nyong ma-update about the DI summit that we are currently planning. So I guess before we go to the Q&A, Ms. Joyce, kindly share our Mentimeter, no? Okay, so balik po tayo sa Mentimeter. I've shared so much earlier. If you will recall, I started with showing the different types of shoes, right? And then we showed you the video of people who are hurt because of hate crimes. We also showed you policies, no? Policies that will allow a more inclusive world. Okay. I also mentioned earlier na yung young workforce natin ngayon, they value diversity and inclusion. They value to work with a company that has good values, no? So, kung hindi tayo mag-evolve bilang negosyo, bilang company, bilang organization, if we will stick to our old policies na bawal may tattoo or dapat between 18 to 35 of age, hindi natin ma-attract yung workforce na gusto natin. Kasi yung bagong workforce nga ngayon is looking for companies that has good values. Okay? That are not, we're not saying the other companies does not have good values, but ito po yung mga our current young millennial professionals, no, looks to work with companies that are inclusive. So kaya yun po yung mga na-highlight ko kanina, right? So, as a last Mentimeter question, we'd like you, this is like a word cloud, no? What kind of world do you envision if DI becomes normal? So please continue answering. What kind of world do we envision if DI becomes normal? No, this is the generation that we want our kids to grow up in, diba? Peaceful, fair. For me, we create a more kinder, future generation. For me, it's co-creating a kinder future generation. I'm happy, no? Positive thoughts. Siguro mas mawawala na yung mga nagsisuicide, di ba? Mas less na yung mga a safe place, no? A place that's safe, no discrimination, happy, peaceful. fair and peaceful world. Ang sarap, di ba? We're gonna be creating a world that's more loving, no? A world that's more that gives people to feel safe. Wala nang mag-escape. No, wala nang sasabihin, ayoko na tumira sa Pilipinas kasi dito discriminate ako. Pero pag nasa Amerika, libre ako. So, and mas walang, alam niyo sa totoo lang, di ba, ang daming mga sakit. Hindi naman dahil masakit yung katawan, it really comes from emotional stress. And that's because of the negative things that we hear all the time. Right? So, I think baka mas konti na yung ma-hospital. No, pagka we have a more positive environment, right? So, uh, yun. Okay, we will have a more open and free world, no? So ang ganda, 'di ba? I hope, can you please raise your hand or can you have like a heart reaction if you agree with me that we will have a more beautiful place, no? If we incorporate DI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, if we champion it into our companies, into our schools, into our organizations, no? Yun po. So yan. So thank you for the hearts. Pwede ko pong picturean. Pipicturean ko lang po itong lumabas sa ating mentee, Picturean ko lang po siya. It's so nice. Okay. Ayun po. Thank you so much. May pumapasok pa po ba? Yun. So, Miss Joyce will end here. And thank you for all the hearts. Thank you for agreeing with me that we'd like to create a kinder future generation, diba? So as we end, hold on. So I just want to share this one. So we are hand in heart. Let us start your DI journey as an organization. If you want to, but you just don't know how, please feel free to get in touch with us. Let us start your DI journey as a company. Paano ba namin gagawin yung procedures namin? Paano ba kami mag-adjust sa mga policies namin bilang company? Paano ba namin i-fully integrate ang DI sa aming companies? Allow us to journey with you in co-creating a kinder future generation. So yun lang po. Thank you so much. And now I think we can open the floor for questions.
Ayan, thank you so much po, Miss Elise. Sobrang daming learnings for that wonderful session po. And ayan, now we'll go to our Q&A. So we'll be using Pigeonhole. Ang kailangan nyo lang pong gawin ay pumunta po tayo sa link na to, tapos type in po yung passcode. So ayan, hintayin lang po natin yung mga questions. Pero so far po, Miss Elise, habang nagto-talk po kasi kayo, parang nagkaroon ako ng light bulb moment na ano po kaya, may question lang po ako, na ano po kaya yung pwede nating gawin like in our own simple ways, na baka may tips po kayo na, kasi 'di ba parang may mga unconscious bias tayo minsan, ganyan, na kapag nakakita tayo ng someone different from us, parang eto na agad yung judgment natin sa people. Parang paano po kaya natin magagawa na kahit sa words natin or sa actions natin, paano po tayo mas magiging sensitive and more aware sa kanilang conditions po?
Okay. Well, one thing that comes to mind, people wants to feel empowered. No? So, actually, we always say, yung mga PWD naman, they will ask for help if they need help. Meaning, hindi naman din automatic na pagbuksan natin sila ng pinto. Kasi minsan alam nila i-advocate yung sarili nila. No? But syempre, yun pong ating mga senior, pag nakita natin na nagko-cross sila, syempre tulungan natin, 'di ba? Let's create more aware people pag may mga barkada tayo or family. It's as simple as, grabe, kunya nanonood kayo TV, sabi niya, uy, grabe ang itim niya, or parang grabe, ang pangit naman ng suot niya, no? We can just tell our friends, uy, nakakasakit ka. Gusto mo ba sabihan ka rin ng ganyan? Di ba? Parang I think those simple things creates awareness, di ba? And yun nga, yung ating po mga senior, minsan pag, let's be patient in sharing things with them because they also like to listen to stories, no? They also like to know what's going on with the mga apo, with the mga anak, kahit na makulit sila, minsan pagtyagaan natin kasi kung gusto nating we are heard, they also want to be heard. Hindi naman nawawala yun sa kanila. So let's start with our own families, 'di ba? Yun, ganun. And yun, yung para po sa mga may anak, minsan 'di ba, yung mga anak natin candidly they will say for example, mga isa ba ganyan, for example lang, I mean the kids are very honest, 'di ba? I think it helps if we don't laugh and hindi tayo parang tatawa kasi isipin nila tama yun, no? So, alam ko po minsan ang cute-cute ng mga anak natin, parang ang sarap na tatawanan natin kasi sinabi nila yon. But kung kaya nating sabihin, uy, parang we don't laugh because parang hindi isipin na tama din yun, no? So, yun po yung mga simple things that I could think of. So, yun, thank you, Miss Joyce, for the question. I hope I answered it. No?
Yes po, thank you po Miss Elise, and sana nga po, magawa natin siya even in our own simple terms. Ayan, meron na pong mga, questions, baka may, preferred po kayong sagutin na muna.
Yeah, so may question po dito, no? How should I react to a disrespectful attitude coming from a superior? So, I think it's also important for people to let people see the other side of things. But syempre, since we are in a society rin na we have to value seniority also, kung mas older din sila, di ba? Feeling ko naman we can make them aware by just saying, uy, ma'am, nakakasakit naman kayo, or parang, ma'am, yung not in a disrespectful way, I think, but we also cannot just allow people to always think na walang other side. Gets? So, if there's a way to actually still be able to let the person know how it has affected us in a very respectful way, I think pwede po naman yun, di ba? Yun, parang, uy, ma'am, grabe naman yun. Something like that, no? But whoever asked this question, if you can give more details, di ba, we can put more context to how we're gonna answer it also. Di ba? But siguro my guiding line is we always choose the higher road. What do I mean by choosing the higher road? So hindi tayo yung magre-respond in a disrespectful way also. Tayo yung magiging mas higher, yung mas higher road nga na response. This sounds cheesy. This will sound cheesy, but the question is always, what's the more loving thing to do? No, what's the more loving response to do? No? So, yun yung, I think that could be a guiding question for all of us in every time that we will respond to something. Okay? Yun. Next, how to persuade our top management to implement DI programs or policies within the organization if it is not their priority or if they think that DI is not important. So, one, I hope, like I mentioned, di ba may hirap mag-recruit ngayon ng tao. So we just have to raise the awareness na the young people now, they value DI is something that they value. So if we are able to offer DI in our companies, baka mas ma-recruit natin sila. So it's what's in it, no? It's like asking what's in it for the company, right? If you are an inclusive company, then baka yung the general public will patronage your product more kasi they actually support companies that upholds DI, 'di ba? Parang, uy, ang galing naman ng company na to, they're hiring senior. No, or uy, ang galing ng company na to, they give equal opportunity. So you try to think what's in it, what's in it for the company also, no, for us to raise awareness, no, ganyan. Yun po, I think more stories and hopefully eventually they get influenced. Kasi if we really don't go with the times, mapag-iiwanan tayo bilang organization at baka magsara na lang tayo kung wala na tayong makuhang maayos na tao. No? Or mga taong iba na, nagbago na po talaga yung paniniwala ng mga tao because we have a more conscious younger generation. May batas din po tayo So actually, to answer that question also, we have a law that says at least 1% if you have a workforce of 100, at least 1% has to be a person with disability. So on the HR side, on the legal side, you can actually mention that. Nasa batas na po yun. No? If you are a multinational company, you can mention yung mga United Nations. But we have a law. We have a law na may batas na rin tayo na hindi ka pwedeng mag-discriminate. So you can talk on batas kasi pwede kayong makasuhan kung hindi kayo, if you will discriminate. No? So I think that's one way of influencing our top management. Sino bang top management gusto makasuhan? Diba? So, ma'am, hindi na po yan pwede. Bawal na po to. Bawal na if you actually discriminate. No? So, we just have to make them aware of the legal and the HR current legal policies related to DI. From your different partners, can you share a glimpse of the cost for adapting as DEI? Because in reality, management will always ask for the cost before thinking about the culture we want to create. Thank you for that, ma'am. So, I think we have to think of the ROI. No, ROI sometimes is retention. So meaning, sige po, let's say mag-hire tayo ng deaf person. The very minimal cost there is interpreting fee, of course, like pag mag-job interview, kailangan ng interpreter. No? We give this sensitivity awareness workshop para ma-integrate ng mabuti yung person with disability dun sa company. So yun po yung mga konting cost. But, okay, example, because we want the company, we want their disabilities to be a contributing factor to the company. Anong example niyan? We have a group of deaf, for example, who, there's this study, no? Hotel chain sila. Nung wala silang deaf sa company, parang 13 to 15 rooms yung natatapos sa isang araw. With deaf people, they were able to finish 16 to 19 rooms. So yung productivity tumaas. No, mas marami silang natatapos na kwarto sa isang araw versus nung wala silang deaf sa team. Ano pong hula niyo doon? Bakit kaya ganun? Bakit po kaya walang chismisan, walang marites, no? So you have to be able to influence the company na mas makakatulong sila. Hindi siya charity case. No, minsan nagpa-packing kami in 5 hours. No, normally pag all hearing 5 hours namin natatapos yung packing na outreach. Nung nasamahan kami ng deaf, naging 3 hours. So, I mean, we have to admit it. Socially, 'di ba, nagkukwentuhan tayo or cellphone or whatever, no? Nadidistract tayo. Pero yun, so you really have to see paano siya makaka-contribute sa workplace. Studies has shown that maybe because persons with disabilities know it's harder for them to get jobs the longer they stay. So merong retention. There's a cost, 'di ba? There's a cost to always changing people. So, ano ba naman yung 500 or 1,000 interpreting fee versus yung lagi ka na lang nagpapa-ads, parati ka na lang nagbabayad ng social media kasi lagi na lang nawawala yung tao natin versus people who really love their jobs, for example. No? So, yun po yung some of the examples that I can think of. So we have to influence kung what's in it for the company.
Yan. Baka we have time pa po for 2 more questions, Miss Elise.
Okay, so yeah, we have naman po. How would you encourage your boss or the management to accept PWDs or seniors? So ganun nga po. It could be on the image side, no? Kasi iba, like a priest told me once, no, sometimes minsan pwedeng hindi super tama yung reason ng bakit nila ginagawa itong bagay na to, bakit sila nag-outreach, pero minsan practice makes perfect. yung it changes hearts no, eventually, 'di ba? So okay lang na minsan hindi to the true blue diversity reasons of being inclusive, but when they see it, nandiyan na, nagkaka-change of heart, no? So, yun nga, good image for the company. Hindi pa lang to super fully implemented kasi yung BIR natin has to really know the law, but has to really know the law, pero may tax benefits po siya. There's actually tax benefits to hiring, to being an inclusive company. Meron din kasi yung mga nagpapa-audit, yung mga diversity DI standard. So minsan may mga company na gustong parang stamp of approval na this is a DI company. So may mga ganun pong klaseng audit. So kung nangongolekta kayo ng mga awards, ng mga recognitions, this can be an angle. This can actually be an angle for you to be proud of. Para po siyang ISO certification. This one is diversity certification. Yun pong mga ganun.
Yan, baka one last na po, Miss Elise.
How can we incorporate DI when it comes to the ratings evaluations as such? So, yun po, you can put percentage actually. Meron pong mga short, Diversio is I think one platform that actually gives you sample ratings on how to rate if a company's DI. But you can make your own. Na parang, we want by this year as a goal, at least 5% of our workforce are seniors. At least 10% of our workforce is person with comes from the LGBTQ sector, no? Yung ganong klaseng mga goals, pwede po natin siyang igawin as an HR of companies or leaders of companies.
Ayan. So, in the interest of time po, baka one last na lang po. Sige, Miss
Okay
Elise.
lang po. Actually, there's a question here. How would you change the low performance of your subordinate? Meron po kasi mga studies that show na yung ibang reason nila for resigning or isang tawag natin doon quiet quitting. Meaning, employed pa sila but hindi na sila nagtatrabaho. Parang quietly nag-quit na talaga sila but they still need the money, the salary, ganyan. Yung iba kasi naghahanap ng affection, yung iba naghahanap ng as simple as affirmation, yung iba naghahanap as simple as good job. No? So, minsan, I think talking to them, makipagkwentuhan lang kayo, you might know what's really going on. No? Minsan kasi hindi nagtatrabaho dahil lang tamad siya eh. Minsan meron sigurong dinadamdam, dinadala, no? So, maybe a simple chat and finding out kung ano yung dinadala nila might help us know how to help them and how to support them. So, So yun po, really getting into conversations with them. So yun, studies has shown really na minsan hindi naman lang dahil sa sweldo, but because never ako na praise nung boss ko or I was never seen in the company, no? So kulang sila sa affection, ganyan. So may mga tao pong yun yung importante sa kanila. Yun.
Ayan. Thank you so much po, Miss Elise, for that Q&A portion. And baka meron pa po kayong parting words for our participants right now.
I think gusto ko lang po mag-stick sa lahat na let's co-create a kinder future generation. So kung meron po akong quotation dash Elise go, it's like, let's co-create a kinder future generation. Yun po yung sa akin.
Ayan. Thank you so much po, Miss Elise. And sobrang ganda po ng quotation na yun kasi syempre we want a kinder generation po, diba? Even for our future generations po. So sana yun talaga yung makita nating next generation. And we'll just present po this certificate of appreciation. So I'll just read the inclusions po. This certificate is issued to Elise Go for generously providing their time and expertise as a resource speaker for the webinar, The Future of Work, How Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Will Shape Our World, held on the 23rd of August 2023, signed by our Chief Enabling Officer, John Baluyot, and our Chief Wellbeing Officer, Nikki Vergara. So again, thank you po so much, Miss Elise Go, kasi ang dami po talaga naming natutunan from you.
Yeah. Thank you also Positive Workplaces for this opportunity. I'll be yesterday I was contacted by Pag-ibig to give them a workshop kasi nakita raw nila yung Positive Workplace na poster. So that became a really good result of this also. So thank you so much for helping us co-create a kinder future generation.
Yes po. Thank you po, Miss Elise. And ayan, we are now concluding our August free webinar series. So the theme po natin for August is The Secret to Positive Work Cultures, Creating Safe and Supportive Workplaces for All. So, kung nag-enjoy po kayo sa August free webinar series natin, wag po kayo mag-alala, meron pa po next month. And para po malaman nyo kung ano yung theme and sino-sino yung speakers next month, follow us on Facebook para updated din po kayo sa mangyayari sa mga webinars pa po ng Positive Workplaces. So that's facebook.com/Positive Workplaces PH. So you can scan the QR code din po para madirect kayo sa link sa Facebook namin, or you can just click on the link that will be posted in the chat box. So ayan. And of course, if you enjoyed yung mga learning sessions, you can also speak with Alma, our Wellbeing Services Officer, kasi for sure, we can work with your organizations para po magkaroon din kayo ng mga learning sessions ng ganito. Kasi syempre, we want to co-create cultures with you. So ayan po, send us a message or email us at tribe@positiveworkplaces.org. And ayan po. If you're interested naman in knowing more about your strengths, meron po kaming webcast together with John, yung Chief Enabling Officer po namin. So nasa episode 2 na po kami ngayong August 31. Motivating Unmotivated Teams po yung title. And you can join our webcast kapag kinlik nyo po yung link na ipopost sa chat box later by our Positive Workplaces intern na si Bella. And you can also click on the link sa Facebook po namin para po makita nyo rin yung updates about it. And ayan, ito na po yung pinakahihintay ng lahat, yung post-eval form. So we'll be pasting the link po sa chat box, or you can scan the QR code din po para makuha nyo na po yung mga evaluation forms. And ayan po, so may mga nagtatanong po sa chat box regarding kung saan po pwede ma-rewatch to. You can follow us on YouTube para po makita niyo po yung mga live webinars and even pa po yung mga past webinars namin para po makapag-rewatch kayo kasi for sure marami po talaga kayong matututunan. So ayan po, thank you so much po. Thank you Miss Elise and thank you Miss Amy for the time na binigay niyo po sa amin this afternoon.
Thank you, Miss Joyce. Thank you, everyone.